Ring the Bell, Episode 8, live here on Insane Games TV. Tyler and Dan with you here on this January 29th. Plenty of Royal Rumble post-action to talk about and what happened this week on Monday Night Raw and so on for AEW last week. Let's jump right into it, Tyler. We had a watch party here last week, actually Sunday, and we discussed, let me make sure my sound's good. Perfect. And we had a watch party here on Insane Games TV. It was you, Mike, myself, Tom, Dave. We each had our picks in. Kind of fun.
Also some random people.
we just allow people to pop their head in and just say, "Hey, what's going on?" And they just hang around here. We should be giving out admission tickets. But we all had our selections. It was kind of a fun thing to do. We've never done that before. Obviously, the channel being new too. It's the first time we've done a watch party. But we all had our picks in. I went for the long horse. Everyone made fun of me. But I went with a long horse, Edge. No one thought he was even going to show up, and then he showed up and made it to the final three.
This goes back to the watch party. Dan saying things half right. Long horse? You mean long shot or black horse? Instead, you just add two of them together and create long horse.
This is the new kick that Tyler and Tom are on. It's where like I say they do have like a double team where it's like they team up against Dan and I don't know if they have side communication that goes on between the two of them on the side, but they're always saying the same thing. And now they're both saying that I say and mix up my words and make two words into one. I don't know what's going on about that.
You want to tell Tyler the song you sung today?
What?
So do you want to sing the song for Tyler that you sung earlier?
Yeah, Mike, just jump right in. Come on in. What do you got to say now?
You just mentioned me. You said everyone's talking about you and how you get things half right.
So what did I do today?
So sing your song.
I'm not singing it. You can say what I did.
He sang the Flintstone song, but he said, "Meet the Jetsons."
I said Jetsons. Meet the Jetsons. I don't know why I did it. I got the two mixed up for some reason.
Half right. The tune was right.
But let's get back on topic here. The Royal Rumble, we all had our picks. I went with Edge. Long shot. Didn't even know if he was going to return. Not only did he return, he went to finish third. Who did you have, Tyler, in your pick?
I had Seth Rollins. I thought he was going to win, coming in at number 30. I thought as soon as like every person was announced and I saw him at 30, I'm like, great, I have the best shot. And I see him eliminate some people and all of his posses around the ring, So I was very excited, and then they left, and that is AOP and Buddy Murphy left the side of the ring after who was it? Kevin Owens and Samoa
after
Joe?
They eliminated Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe.
Yeah. So they were fighting outside the ring and left, and then I was like, shit, this is not good, because everybody went after him, and he got what he deserved. But, credits due to Drew McIntyre. I think that's an awesome pick for WWE to have him win it. He's definitely been putting in a lot of work, and I think he's going to be a great heel / face. I mean, it looks like he's probably turning because he's going to go against Brock Lesnar now, so I don't know. He's an interesting character, and I think he deserves a shot, and I think it'll be a really good match between him and Brock Lesnar.
I did too, and I also think that Drew McIntyre I would consider to be a Paul Heyman guy. I think him getting selected.
I can see that.
I think Paul Heyman is behind Drew McIntyre, and I think if there's going to be a guy that Brock Lesnar's going to lose to, and B, that's going to help make them a number one star on Raw, I think Drew McIntyre is a pretty good pick. And I think probably he was selected given around probably Paul Heyman making him the guy. Paul does run Smackdown, or does run Raw, so you have, I'm sure, a lot of input from Paul Heyman to make Drew McIntyre the winner and to eventually maybe go on and beat. I mean, Brock Lesnar's got to lose the title. I mean, come on. I mean, if they're going to pit those two against each other down the road looking at WrestleMania, they got to have Brock Lesnar lose the title. They have to.
No, I mean, I think it's good because it freshens up what the product is for WrestleMania. You're not having Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins in the main event against Brock Lesnar like you do every year, it seems like lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Drew McIntyre is going to be a good pick. He has great in-ring ability. He's great on the mic. He cuts a great promo with a Scottish accent, but I think he it's interesting because it's good for WWE to go with someone new rather than the same old same old.
I agree, and they're not going with the fantasy matchup either. This is a guy that probably legitimately could take it to Brock Lesnar and win. I mean, rather it's storyline or not.
Sure.
The size wise and the physique, he can probably go on and take it to Brock Lesnar if he had to.
Yeah, I agree.
So why don't you want to go down and run through the card on Royal Rumble, go match by match?
Yep.
Let's start out with I'm not quite sure if these are in order when they actually were on the Rumble. But let's start out with Lacey Evans and Bayley. We have the women's Smackdown title up for grabs.
Decent match.
What's that?
I said it was a decent match. I was kind of hoping Lacey Evans would pull it out, but if you watch the watch party stream, I definitely picked Bayley to win it, and it's like you almost knew that she was going to win it, but nothing too surprising in this match. I thought this whole storyline wasn't the best as is.
No,
so,
I agree.
Yeah.
I kind of, when I look at the storyline, first off, I like Bayley as a heel. I kind of like, I
hate her as a heel. I think she's good.
Well, she wanted it, and she, based off what I've read, that she wanted to become the heel. She wanted to do something different with the character, and I get that. When you play that childhood, her main attraction was the younger kids. I mean, the hugs. I mean, eventually you kind of get to where, I mean, if I had to pick, if I wanted to be a face or a heel, I probably want to be a heel. I like playing the bad guy. I mean, I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's easy to play the bad guy. It's hard to pander to the crowd, but
true.
I just think she's not good at it. I just genuinely don't think that she, whether she tries or not, it just seems like no matter how hard she tries, she's bad at being a heel. Like Sasha Banks, great heel. Becky Lynch, great heel. Charlotte Flair, great heel. Bayley, horrible heel. She should always stay a face. I mean, yeah, she could have bouts of being a heel, but I think she's just so much better at... it's crazy to me, because now that I think about it, she's going up against Lacey Evans, who is a good heel. And I thought Lacey Evans being the face was actually more of a heel than Bayley was a heel being a heel,
Right. I agree, and I think with Bayley, I think the problem with Bayley trying to be the heel is that you have a lot of people that associate her with what she was before. So they're kind of like, no matter how much she becomes a heel, they always know that was her character before, and that is how they perceive. Like even when I see her, I think of the one coming out doing. Like I think it's one of those weird things where it's an act that she's trying to be a heel. It's just one of those things you just can't. It's almost like the Roman Reigns situation where it was an act for him to be a good guy, and they were trying so hard to make him a good guy, and you wanted to hate him. And like with Bayley, she's trying to act so much like a heel that you want to like her. And it's just one of those weird where I think it's just like it's not really working. Even though I don't mind it, but I think a lot of people, if I had to guess, are probably like.
Well, what do you like about her being a heel? Because I don't understand what
I like the look. I think she has a mean look to her. Obviously, she changed her hair. She changed the colors of her uniform. I mean, you can tell she's obviously doing I like her entrance music as a heel. I kind of like she's playing that card where she doesn't have to wrestle, she doesn't have to, or she's hiding in the back. She's playing that typical heel character storyline, and I don't mind it. I think it's good. I like to see her as a heel for a little bit, kind of something different with her.
It freshens it up. I think they should pull the plug as soon as WrestleMania is over because she's obviously not good at it.
My question is how many. So on SmackDown you have Lacey Evans, who was a heel, and I guess she's kind of like the face, I guess now, if Bayley is the main heel. Then you have Sasha Banks, she's a heel. Like, who are the faces on SmackDown? Is there really any? There's really nothing.
I mean, honestly, they have Alexa Bliss on SmackDown, who they don't really use that much right now.
But she's a heel.
And yeah, but I think right now she's a face. Like she's playing. She could. The nice thing about her is she's like a Swiss Army knife. She could go either way and still be good at it.
She's a great heel.
I also think that's the person that should face Bayley at WrestleMania and take the title away. Because I think she deserves the title more than Bayley.
I'm a huge Alexa Bliss fan. I thought it was great when she won the title the first time, and the reign she had, and the reign the second time. I think she's
Didn't you pick her in the Royal Rumble?
I did. I thought she was going to win. Well, she went in number 1. I said, well, you know what? And she was on there for a long. She went to I think the 16th or 17th person in. So I was like, okay, well maybe they're going to stick with her and go through the whole Royal Rumble. But she's been out of the title picture for quite some time, where I think she's due to have a title run. And I've always
she injured, so
she's had a lot of concussion issues.
How you doing?
So she seems it seems like anytime her head hits the mat, there's a concussion.
You guys buy games?
But yeah, I feel like she would make a much better champion on SmackDown than. I mean, I don't know what to do with Sasha Banks. They seem determined to never give her the title anymore. I don't know what's going on with that. I thought Bayley deserved the title for a long time, but she's had it now. So I think it's time for her to switch over to someone else. I'm not a big Lacey Evans fan. I don't really like that character storyline too much. But like I said, on SmackDown, you have 3 main people on there. Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, you have Bayley. I'm guessing all of them are trying to play heel or one's. See, my thing is you have Alexa Bliss who should be the heel. You have Bayley trying to be the heel, and then you have Sasha Banks that is a heel. I mean, it's just like they got to get that figured out, I think. And
yeah, they really don't have many people on SmackDown, I believe, for the women's division. So
I'm trying to think. Are we forgetting anyone? I don't think we're.
Division.
I don't think we're really forgetting anyone of significance on SmackDown. I'm trying to look up the roster right now.
Those are really the big ones. I mean, you have Mandy Rose and what's her face, her partner, but that's really about it.
SmackDown female wrestlers we have. Hang on, I got it right here. Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Carmella, but she's a heel. Last time I knew. Dana Brooke, Amber Moon, Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks.
Mickie James still wrestles.
She's on there. Sonya Deville, Tamia, Maurice, but she's with The Miz. So I mean, when you look at those, I mean, I guess you kind of.
It's like how many names can you butcher? Because you said Amber Moon, it's Ember Moon. Then you said Tamina or whatever the hell you said, and it's Tamina.
It's no joke around here that I get the names wrong. I don't discredit that. What about Carmella? She's a former champ. I mean,
I think she's getting the treatment of one of kind of Dean Ambrose did with dating a commentator.
Who's she dating? Corey Graves, right?
She's dating Corey Graves. Yeah. So I feel like this is a thing that happens in WWE when wrestler is dating a commentator. And also, where is what's her face that's dating Jon Moxley or married to Jon Moxley? She hasn't been on TV in 8 years. She's only on the Fox.
Why can't I think of her name? Thing. Renee Young. She's on. She does that Fox show now.
Yeah, so now she's only on that show. She's not on any commentating thing.
And I'm pretty sure she's paid. She works for Fox. Last time I don't know how that whole show works, but I believe it's a Fox show.
I think Carmella's getting Das Boot because of her dating Corey Graves.
Well, they have. You got to look at. When I look at the female wrestlers here, and just the ones that are on SmackDown, I don't know why they don't have a tag team belt for both shows. I don't understand why they don't.
It makes a lot of sense. They don't have as many females on SmackDown. It's only a 2-hour show, and it's 3 hours.
So let me put it this way: you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 12 female wrestlers on SmackDown. Let's say
2 of which haven't been on TV. Maurice is pregnant.
That's 11. That's 13 if you include Maurice.
Okay, Mickie James hasn't been on TV, and I doubt she really even wrestles that much anymore. So that's how many is that?
12, down to 12. 11? Ember Moon, she's inactive.
Okay, that's exactly my point. They can't have
torn
a tag
Achilles
division with just 10 people and have one person be the champion too.
So listen to. Okay, so let's say let's knock it down to 9. You have one that's the champ, and you have the champ that's battling with one other. That leaves 7 other female wrestlers that have to do nothing. They have no.
Yeah, but then you add a match to SmackDown that is. I mean, I'm sorry, but the women's tag team division is probably not going to be the greatest thing for SmackDown right now because it's only a 2-hour show.
So what you're saying is you got to do a secondary storyline, something like with Lana and Liv Morgan, where they're off on the side, not really battling for the title.
I guess I don't know because I just think the Raw Women's Tag Team Championship makes a lot more sense than a SmackDown one.
Well, technically,
they already have two tag teams with the men's and the SmackDowns.
Well, and the tag team belt now can go on both shows.
What's that?
The women's tag team, the tag team champs, they can go on both shows.
Well, there you go. That solves your issue right there. Why add another belt?
Well, in this day, it seems like everyone has a belt. Well, then again, no, I take that back. Take that back, because there's a lot of people who should have a belt and they don't. I said that statement, I take it back immediately. Continuing with the women's division, we had Asuka and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title right after that. Probably a more... This one, to me, had a much bigger storyline than the whole Lacey Evans-Bayley. It kind of was like, to me, the Lacey Evans-Bayley was kind of just like, okay, they're fighting, they had a disagreement in the back, and the typical backstage brawl. But these two, Becky Lynch, Asuka, they actually had a legitimate storyline going, where it seems like it's been building for a while. I mean, I like Becky Lynch. I don't know if I necessarily agree with Asuka being in the match. She's the women's tag team champion. Can we find someone who doesn't have a belt and put them in the title picture? You know, you're kind of limiting yourselves now where you have the tag team champs involved in the championship match. But, I mean, I guess it's a different type of storyline. But with that said, what did you think of the match on the Royal Rumble? Were you pleased with it?
Yeah, I thought it was good, and I thought there was an interesting fact that the prior year, Becky Lynch was fighting Asuka for Asuka's championship, and this year was the reverse. So I thought that was pretty cool that they did it that way. But yeah, I agree. I don't understand why they would have her as the tag team champ in a championship match when, in reality, Asuka probably should have been in the Royal Rumble match, fighting for it, an opportunity to get that title chance. But, you know, I thought it was a good match. I always think those two put on good matches. I thought it was way better than the Bayley and Lacey Evans storyline. So, you know, it wasn't anything that knocked my socks off, but, you know, it was a good match.
Yeah, I liked it. And hang on a second. Did you use that $100 bill?
Yeah.
Can you go get change at Trustco before they close? They close at 6. Just grab like 50, whatever you're missing in there. Sorry, I got business to handle for a second. Yeah, I thought the match, like, you know, and I think what I like about Asuka is I think Asuka and I always who's a tag team partner for her. I always that name I butcher.
Kyrie something.
Yeah, for her, I think those two make an excellent tag team. I think they're hilarious. She's poking people with the umbrella, and I think it's hilarious. I think that tag team is great. That's why I don't understand why.
I just go back to saying that I hate that they speak a different language and there's no subtitles for it.
But
I know what they're saying.
I do too, but I kind of like it. They seem to make it funny when you're watching them, because you know, on Raw, Asuka came out and she go, and she's saying all her different stuff, and then she actually converted to English for a minute, and she actually said, like, you can kind of get the idea of what she's saying in her language. It's kind of okay, she's obviously mocking her. You can tell by how she's saying it. But either way, I that tag team is hilarious. I think I think they're great tag team champs. That's why I'm just confused as to why they have her entangled with Becky Lynch and not.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that it's a not? So say you were a wrestler, and you know last year. I'm mainly speaking about Asuka. So say last year you were, you know, fighting in WrestleMania for the championship belt, and now this year you're fighting and you're the tag team champion. Do you still feel like you're one of the best, or do you feel like they demoted you and you know you're not as good as you were? Because like you're still a champion, but you're not like a singles champion.
No,
you're a tag team champion.
I used to think that way. You know. I used to think like you weren't relevant unless you were in the title picture. But you know what? They can't have her as a champion for that. You get stale. I mean, well, how long until Becky Lynch's character becomes stale? It's going to become stale. You have to leave. Like, here's a perfect example, in my opinion. Daniel Bryan, right? Came back. He had that whole thing going with his return is not, and then they have him lose the title, and he went and he did something for the tag team title, and it keeps him relevant in a different way. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and if you have any belt, you're considered to be relevant in the WWE or AEW. If you have a belt in any division, but if you look at Like, and mark my words. I mean, you agree or disagree? Becky Lynch, she continues to keep the title for a long time. That character is going to become stale. Like, it's just everyone has become used to it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
okay, what do we? Here comes Becky Lynch, the title, and that's it. And it's just like, what are you gonna do? I just don't think. I don't think if for her to still be the SmackDown character or just a women's tag team, it's keeping her character relevant. And I think they're doing a pretty good job teaming her with the other lady, woman. Three different things.
Kairi Sane. Did you just say her name?
But I think I think Asuka, in my opinion, has made herself relevant through the tag titles. Almost more than she was a year ago.
I agree. It's just, my thinking is their mentality of fighting in these matches, knowing that last year they were fighting for the top of the top in their division. So I don't know. I guess you got to just take a step outside and say, well, at least I'm still fighting for a championship, I guess. So.
But look at the politics of WWE, though. If you have Asuka with a title for a year and you have her own battle, what do you think about the other 25 women that are on your roster? They're going to start to become annoyed. They're going to start to become like, that's when you have all the people that become unhappy and want to leave, is that they're not getting chances.
True.
So let's jump right into. I really don't have much to say in this match. I'll see if you do. The Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin. I'm so sick of these two battling each other. It's like every week it's something with those two.
I mean, we kind of hopped into the Royal Rumble watch party a little late into this match, so I really only saw half of it. But I thought it was interesting about how they used the crowd and were fighting in the crowd. How the Usos were going up against Ziggler and Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever his name is. But I thought it was an interesting match. I thought it was a good one. I hope this is with Roman Reigns winning. It kind of ends the storyline that they have with each other, because I honestly think that Roman Reigns is now going to start one up with Bray Wyatt for the title at WrestleMania. I think that's going to be the obvious storyline for SmackDown. But I thought it was a good match. I'd probably give it a B, maybe like a C- at the least, but a B.
Right.
Or C+, excuse me.
So what I want to do here is that let's talk about the Daniel Bryan Wyatt, but I kind of want to I want to go back and throw in Roman Reigns into that after. Daniel Bryan Wyatt match. I don't really know what Daniel Bryan's doing in this match. I think it's a wasted opportunity for him, because I think The Fiend and Bray Wyatt, they got a great character combo going. I love the character. You knew Daniel Bryan wasn't going to win the title. It's almost like he sacrificed himself in the storyline. And
yeah, but that's good. That's fine, because The Fiend needs Bray Wyatt needs what's the word that I'm going for? Reputability. To basically take down legends like Daniel Bryan.
He needs credibility.
He already took down Seth Rollins. He already took down the King. He needs someone that's big, like Daniel Bryan, to take down in order to set himself up as this big character to go up against someone as Roman Reigns, in a huge match at WrestleMania, if that's the way that they're going.
Right.
So I think it's good that they use Daniel Bryan, because, everybody loves him. He's a great face, and, he plays the character right, and he put on a great match with Bray Wyatt. I thought the match between those two was awesome. I thought it was the best match of the night for the singles competitors anyways, but I think it was good that he was the one, instead of throwing someone else in there that doesn't belong.
Right. I thought the match was good. I thought it was an interesting match, the strap match. I think I disagree, I guess, with the whole Daniel Bryan. I agree with what you're saying. You're trying to make Bray Wyatt on like a pedestal. He needs to have a reputable track record of people that he's beaten. I just didn't think it was. I thought it was a wasted storyline for Daniel Bryan to just basically roll over like that. Daniel Bryan is still pretty well in the mix with fans and the audience, and he's definitely a main title person.
I feel like they did it in a way where it doesn't take away from Daniel Bryan also. Like he still is not, like they didn't take him down a peg or anything. He's still on top. People still like him. He was able to get a complete look change out of the whole entire storyline, to maybe help him change his face and throughout the next few months or whatever the case may be. But I think it was a good and smart way of using him for that match. And he came out looking strong and finished strong. So it's not like this match completely shit on him, like he lost in 15 seconds or anything like that. So.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where Daniel Bryan goes after this now. I mean, where does he go? I mean, is he taking a couple months off now, maybe? You don't...
No, they'll probably have him in a semi-decent match on the WrestleMania pre-show.
There could be he could go for the Intercontinental title. Shinsuke Nakamura.
That would be a very interesting match. Haven't they faced before on that?
That's what I'm saying. That might already be.
I mean, they both have strong styles, so that would be a very interesting match to have. I mean, I think it would freshen up Shinsuke Nakamura for sure, having like a decent opponent finally. Because I can't even name the last opponent they had going against him for the Intercontinental Championship. Can you?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's willing. I think it's time for Shinsuke to lose the belt, though. I do think he's done.
I do think so too, because they haven't really done anything with that belt. They have that group. They have him, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro, and then they just don't do anything with it.
I think he's definitely due for a time to go. But let's mix in the now that we kind of both mentioned Roman Reigns, obviously showing a pretty strong finish at the Royal Rumble. And I think we both can agree he's probably going to go on to main event with Bray Wyatt. In my opinion, I think this is a very bad match. It's an understandable match, but it's a very bad match for WWE because what are you going to do now? You have Roman Reigns, who you want to be in the title match, because obviously he's gone, a year and a half without the title. But are we going to bury Bray Wyatt now and have Roman... The fans are going to go in an uproar if Bray Wyatt comes in to Royal Rumble or the WrestleMania and loses out of all people, Roman Reigns. Do you not agree?
I mean, I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna bury Roman Reigns for. This is what I hope happens. I hope they bury him all the way up until WrestleMania, and at WrestleMania he has like a WrestleMania moment where he finally beats Bray Wyatt and the Fiend in like a. They're probably gonna do some dark match. Like I honestly would love to see them in like a Hell in a Cell match or like a cage match or something where it has to do with like destruction, like TLC, tables match, you name it. I think that's what they need to do with these two guys at WrestleMania. Something big, something that's gonna put over Bray Wyatt's character while also allowing him to lose, so it doesn't make his character look soft. And because I do think Roman Reigns needs to get the title back, and I think this would be an opportune time for him to do it against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. And they just need to do it in a way where, like I said, Daniel Bryan or Bray Wyatt looks strong with having him lose. And I think, if they do like a crazy match stipulation, that's corny, it's not going to do that. But if they do one that's like destruction, total chaos or something like that, then it's going to be an interesting match, because I feel like the Fiend works well within those restrictions.
You ready? You ready for the why Dan should be on the WWE writing team? You ready for this one? Tell me you don't think this would be great. Why not put Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, triple threat match? And then what you have is you play the game of Bray Wyatt's beating on both of them. Both of them are trying to team up to take him down, but also have the insecurities of them against each other. And you have that little card where, Bray Wyatt comes in, destroys Roman Reigns, comes in, destroys Daniel Bryan leading up to WrestleMania. And then one time they come down and they kind of work together and beat up on Bray Wyatt, but now they don't kind of trust each other. And it's kind of one of those classic, was he about to attack me right there? One of those, they're not really together, but they're trying to work together to take down the Fiend, because obviously he's a force to be reckoned with, which leads to a triple threat match, which I don't think WWE does enough of. It's always single matches. I think they can start using a little bit more triple threat. And then, if Roman Reigns does win at WrestleMania, you could have it because the two of them broke down Bray Wyatt, and he necessarily didn't really lose the title. It just he kind of got double teamed, and you know what I mean. So you can kind of get him out of that. So tell me why that shouldn't be a WWE storyline right now going into WrestleMania.
I think it could. It's just the last time I think something like that had happened for a title match was like WrestleMania 2000 when they had that 6-way match with like the Big Show, Triple H, Kurt Angle. And honestly, now that I think about that one was like that one was like one of my favorite matches at WrestleMania for the title because it was just like ultimate chaos, Hell in a Cell match. Rikishi getting thrown off the top of the cage into a
that was the
trucker.
6-man. That was the 6-man Hell in a Cell.
Oh, was that Armageddon?
No, yes, that was Armageddon. The one you're thinking of is the 4-way Fatal 4-way.
Oh, the 4-way: Big Show, Triple H,
Mankind,
The Rock.
and The Rock.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
And each one had a McMahon in their corner.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just think it's. I think that WWE is too scared of it being too chaotic, with not knowing who to focus on, and that's why they always do like those single matches. I think it would be a great idea doing a triple threat match. I just don't think that they want to use Daniel Bryan.
But why not? They keep him in the title. They keep all three in the title picture. And let's be honest, they need more chaos.
Daniel Bryan's already lost to him in two straight pay-per-views. Why have him in a third?
Well,
and there's going to be a pay-per-view that's coming up.
I mean, really?
Super Showdown. And then they have whatever is it Fastlane that's in between WrestleMania?
Something stupid that shouldn't be. But really, I mean, I've seen wrestlers go 3 matches. I mean, there's the King Corbin and the Roman Reigns have been going on for 6 months. They've had like 8 pay-per-views in a row at the same match.
I mean, it hasn't, but I just think that it would really bury Daniel Bryan if they made him lose again at WrestleMania after having him lose at Royal Rumble and having him lose at Hell in a Cell.
I just think they need some more chaos. What's that phrase? I think it's from Batman. What is it, Mike?
Oh, Jesus.
It needs more incite the chaos or something. Like create chaos. Like, why not? We're so used to the same old boring 1v1. Throw in a triple threat match for the title. I mean, what could go wrong with that?
That they should have a special stipulation match for these two. Maybe like a old school like Undertaker match where they used to do like Buried Alive or something like that. Except have it. You can't get too corny though because then it gets like the WrestleMania we went to when Bray Wyatt faced Randy Orton where they had freaking bugs like coming on like the ring or some shit like that. That was stupid. But like I think like a special stipulation match with Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt would be incredible.
I just think that I hope they do something of interest for that match. I wish they do something of interest for all of them. It's always the same old. See, I think the problem with WWE is they get too much into the single storylines, and it's just like the history between the two and what. Like, who gives a shit? Can we just put a couple guys in a match and have them all like? I like 3 or 4 people wrestling in one match for the title. They have a big enough roster to do it. I mean, and you get 3 or 4 guys that all get their title shot, and you get them out of the way. Daniel Bryan been in the title picture now for a long time. It's move it on now. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Okay, you've had your title. It's time. I think that's part of the problem. It's always the same boring 1v1 with their whatever storylines that have got those two together, and it's just like incite the chaos, make it a triple threat match, have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, you think about like the old WrestleManias with like The Rock and Stone Cold, like they had the ones where it was Falls Count Anywhere at like 17. Then they had like the one where loser retires. They have like all these different stipulation matches, and they've definitely gotten away from it over the past few years. Obviously they don't do like the retirement. They do the retirement ones when someone's definitely going to retire, but
right.
They just don't do those crazy like matches anymore at WrestleMania. It's like they're afraid to take the
exactly.
risk.
I mean, when I look back at some of my favorite pay-per-view matches, and obviously here's my plug for the episode, The Rock. I look at that 4-man match at WrestleMania: Mankind, Triple H, Big Show, Rock. Great match. I look at the 6-man Hell in a Cell at Armageddon. Great storylines there. And then really, one of my favorite matches is Undertaker, Kurt Angle, The Rock for the Undisputed title. I thought that was a great triple threat match between the 3 of them. And I believe Undertaker lost the belt to The Rock.
Wasn't it Jericho, Triple H and Angle, or no, it was Jericho, Stone Cold, and The Rock for the Undisputed Championship too. That was a triple threat match as well.
Yep, and then you had Kurt Angle there. It was a lot of. I like it when there's multiple guys, and I think it just brings out better in each other.
When it's done right, it's good. It's just tough because like, you know, you need the right characters in order to do that. But I mean, when it's done right, then you have like when Jericho won the Undisputed title, all he said for the past 6 months was he beat The Rock and Stone Cold at the same damn time.
He still says it. Maybe not at AEW anymore, but he says it at.
You know, speaking of AEW, I don't know if you caught. You watched it, right?
Bits and pieces of it.
I don't know if you caught it, but when the Young Bucks came out and super kicked MJF,
right?
When the Cody Rhodes segment, I'm pretty sure JR. No, I know for a fact he said "Sweet Chin Music." He said "Sweet Chin Music," and I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to say that because after that, like. The other announcer, Tony Schiavone, cut him off and he was like, super kick. Like, he said it like super fast after he said it. Because I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted by WWE. And
probably.
JR was like, sweet chin music.
I bet you, yeah. He would probably get in big time trouble and they'd probably quick cut him off. See, that's a classic JR. Don't get me going. That was last week or the week before when we got into the whole AEW Jim Ross thing, but that's part of my reason why I don't think JR should be on there. They need to bring in people who aren't familiar with WWE, where stuff like that isn't said. You know what I mean? Like if I was a WWE guy for 20 years, yeah, I would say the same thing probably because you're used to it. But like when you come in and you're born AEW, you know the terms of AEW, not so much the terms of WWE. But that's a whole nother bag of can of worms. Whatever. I knew you were going to jump on this, me saying it wrong again. We were talking about the Royal Rumble. We can't forget about
it. It's not a can of worms.
You don't know.
It's not a bag of worms. It's a bag full of a can of worms.
No, it's just a can of worms.
No, so just picture like a knapsack, and then inside that knapsack is just a bunch of cans, and inside those cans are worms.
I hate worms, so I don't want to picture it.
You eat the sour worms.
Sour worms? They're goddamn effing candy, Mike. We're talking about real worms, not candy.
Don't be dropping the GD on the show.
Royal Rumble. Let's get into the actual Royal Rumble matches. We had the women's one up first before the men's. You know, kind of hard. I don't know. I knew this was going to be a problem. This is my opinion. From the get-go, the first women's Royal Rumble they brought all of them back. Trish Stratus, Alita, Kelly, all of them back. And now, we're going to keep doing that every year? You don't have enough to fill the... You don't have enough... I mean, I'm looking right here. There's 12 and 12. 12 on SmackDown, 12 on Raw. There's 24. So you don't even have enough to fill 30. And... I don't know.
Awful finish. That's all I have to say.
I wasn't happy with the women's one.
I said this on the stream on Sunday. I thought that Royal Rumble was an awful finish. They had Charlotte Flair throw over Shayna Baszler like it was like me throwing Mike out of the ring, like it was nothing. You know, it was just bad. I thought they choreographed it horribly. I thought they could have finished it a lot better. I thought they could have made Shayna Baszler look a little bit stronger since she's like one of the top people in NXT, and they love pushing NXT. I'm glad that they had a lot of people from NXT because obviously they need to fill it, but they have a lot of great stars on that show for the women's division.
Well, I forget about NXT.
Thought I forgot throughout the whole entire match, I just felt like a lot of it was just not good wrestling. And whether that has to do with the wrestlers or, you know, whatever, it just wasn't that great. Beth Phoenix was on the verge of hemorrhaging her head with the amount of blood that she had.
I don't know why she's not wrestling full time. I thought she was the best in the entire women's Royal Rumble.
She was the best. I thought she was one of the best. I don't think she was the best, but I thought she did a great job for, you know, not wrestling in years for full time. But I mean, just like seeing her head turn red was insane. Like
it just shows me.
I just thought it wasn't that great of a Royal Rumble. I thought Charlotte Flair definitely needed to win it. I thought that was great, but I feel like they could have executed the end a lot better And they could have executed a lot of people eliminating each other a lot better too.
It just goes on to show me when I was watching Beth Phoenix and I watched the rest. It just showed me that the wrestling moves and the way wrestlers were in the early years are just much different than they are now. And I think they're better trained than what they are now. And I watched Beth Phoenix and just watching the way she maneuvers the ring. Like when she's wrestling, she prepares things that are going to happen seconds later, 30 seconds later, 40. Like these other ones, they just don't get it, in my opinion. Like I feel like they just don't understand the production of the match and how to produce a good match. I just don't think they're that good at it. The new wrestler, it's the same thing with men too. When you watch the men's and you see veteran wrestlers come in and they know how to expose themselves better during dead time. Like watching Edge. Edge knows how to make it look like he's either struggling or, during the Royal Rumble where, obviously the camera's not always on them. They kind of have to make it look like they're doing something when they're not really doing something. And you look at these veteran wrestlers and they're just so much better, in my opinion, than the new ones that are out now. They just don't get it. I don't know what to call that. I don't know why it's so different, but in my opinion, it's completely different between the decades of wrestling, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite moment was when Otis caught Mandy Rose outside the ring. I thought that was pretty cool. Or when what's her face? What's her name? She was like on the outside of the ring and she climbed up.
Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi, where she climbed up the wall and then, I mean, granted, I was hoping she would jump from the announce table to the ring, but I mean, she got back to the ring. But I thought that was a pretty cool moment, and I'm glad Naomi's back because she's a very interesting wrestler. But
what are they gonna do with her?
I just thought I would give it like a B minus, C plus maybe. I mean that you would give it lower.
Oh, it was not good.
I thought it was good. I just thought it was executed poorly. I'll give it a C plus.
It was not good. I'm gonna give it a C.
So 1 grade lower below.
Well, you said B plus to start. Much bigger difference.
I said B minus, C plus.
It's definitely. It is lucky. I'm gonna go with C, but they're lucky. I'm not giving them a D minus because it's pretty close with D minus. But I'll give it a respectable
big
C.
Jump from a C to a D minus.
I don't care what you want to call it. I'm just simply saying I was borderline gonna give it a D minus, but I'll give it a C. I think.
Okay.
I think they hurt themselves with having that big Royal Rumble debut. I don't know why it's 30. They're making all the rules different for women. So why not make it a 20-person women's Royal Rumble? Much easier. But I forget about NXT. I forget that they had the NXT roster to bring in. But I just don't think it was an overall good match. No surprises. I didn't like what's-his-face, Santino Marella coming out. I thought that was absolutely stupid. It was a dumb thing.
I thought that was fine, though. I thought it was fine. And the reason why I tell you is they needed someone to come out. They have those in the Royal Rumble all the time where they come out as a joke and then they get eliminated. I like how he eliminated himself, but he also had past rivalry with Beth Phoenix, so it kind of made sense how they tied him into it. I thought it was fine. People may not like it, but I thought it was funny.
I didn't like it.
It was a good joke, and I love how he eliminated himself.
I thought it was one of the stupidest storylines I saw all night. Was him coming out.
Yeah, it takes away from some other person being in it, but
no, they needed to fill. No, they didn't. They needed to fill. They had no one to fill it.
I mean, they could have filled it with someone else, like Oscar or somebody like that. But I mean, I thought it was a good plug to have in. I mean, shit, they've had freaking Drew Carey come out in the men's Royal Rumble. You don't see people bitching about that.
Can you at least have one of the women toss him out? But to toss himself out doing the stupid movement, I just thought the whole thing was dumb.
Why is that dumb? He hit himself with his own finishing move.
Because he's what, scared of Beth Phoenix?
No, I guess you just don't understand the humor behind the whole thing.
I really don't understand the humor behind it. He obviously did it because he looked at both of them, knew he wasn't going to do anything, so he did the move on himself to toss himself out. The whole thing was stupid.
So he doesn't hit a woman, and then they're just looking at him like, what the hell's going on?
That brings into my next. If you're gonna have a guy come into the ring and your WWE and you're afraid of all that, you can't have him touch us. Why even have one come out? I thought the whole thing was dumb. You and I are gonna disagree on it. That's the type of humor that Tyler likes. I don't find that to be funny.
Yeah, because my name's Dan. I'm a pencil neck geek, and I like stuff straightforward and straight to the point.
I don't think the pencil neck part was necessary, but but okay, a little over the line with the pencil neck. We got the men's Royal Rumble that closed out tonight. Let me start by saying this. I'm gonna do a complete 180. Fantastic Royal Rumble by the men's. A+ to the highest standards I can possibly give it. I thought there was multiple storylines. I thought there was multiple interactions. I thought there was multiple storylines that set themselves up after the Royal Rumble. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the whole Brock Lesnar part at the beginning was fantastic. I thought the whole surprise entrance of Edge going all the way to the ending. I thought Seth Rollins and his bunch of cronies coming out at the end was great. I thought the whole thing was fantastic. A+ to the highest of standards. Your thoughts?
I would say it was great. I thought it was a lot better than the women's. I wouldn't give it an A+. I'd give it an A-. I do like how they made Brock Lesnar look super strong in the beginning. I mean, I know on the stream you were like, oh, like this is kind of, but you know, as a whole, when you see the WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble, you're like, you know, it makes sense, you know, and then you have Drew McIntyre eliminate him, and then have him go on to win out the whole entire thing, with a bunch of, you know, sprinkles of the different storylines going on throughout the whole entire Royal Rumble. I agree. I thought it was great. You know, Edge coming out, that was a huge surprise. I know it was rumored. I thought it was one of the biggest Royal Rumble surprises, you know, in history, just because he retired for injury purposes and came back, and you know, he was one of the best in the ring and did a phenomenal job, and he's in great shape, and he definitely killed it. Dan picking him to win it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I thought it was overall a really good Royal Rumble. So
clearly, I was partly right. Not only did I get him correct in coming in, he went to the final three. The final three.
Yeah. We didn't pick it to who's gonna be in the Royal Rumble. We picked to win it.
I'm sorry. Who did you pick?
Seth Rollins, who was phenomenal.
Yeah, but he got eliminated 5 minutes into the match.
If it wasn't for everybody ganging up on him, he wouldn't have gotten eliminated.
And you got classic Mike and Tom that come in here and go, oh, we're going to go with the big dog, because we're so cool. We're going to go anyone could have picked the big dog, and he would have been the finalist.
Everybody hates the big dog except the Dream Team.
Yeah. By the way, Edge wasn't a one-time deal. 3 years, Tyler. A whopping 3-year contract with WWE. He ain't going.
You know how old he will be when his contract ended?
44.
He's 46 right now.
Ah!
So 49 or 50. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair wrestled until they almost died. So
it's true. I thought he's obviously not going anywhere. 3-year deal. He got cleared by an independent doctor and apparently met with AEW officials, and WWE just had to drop the money at that point. Classic, pitting them against each other. And I think it'd be cool to see Edge. And he even kind of came out and he gave everyone the disclaimer at the beginning of Raw. He said he doesn't know how long this is going to go. You know, you may find out in 8 months he injures himself again and he's done. So you don't know how long it's going to go. I think they're safe with a 3-year deal. But either way, it'd be cool. With a 3-year deal, you know he's got to have a title run at some point. I mean, if that's the case...
So do you think that because what happened on Raw with him and Randy Orton wanting to team up one more time... Wait, that's a lie because Randy Orton RKO'd him. Never mind. But do you think that he's gonna go against Randy Orton at WrestleMania? It's gonna be like one of those like legend matches now.
Is it? He gave him the concerto in the middle of the ring. They're definitely going to be fighting each other. There's not like, hey, I'm sorry for taking you out of the Royal Rumble. I'm going to give you a concerto and we're even. I don't think so. They're definitely going to go head-to-head at WrestleMania, for sure. For sure.
For sure. What is a concerto?
That's what it's called, a concerto. You don't remember that?
No.
They rated RKO in the concerto?
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Now I do. Fuck you. You don't even know who WCW is. So.
What? Shut your mouth, Mike, over there.
You don't even know who Paul White is.
Stop, okay? Who Paul White?
You don't know it?
Who Paul White?
I know exactly who it is.
Who Paul White?
It's the big fucking show.
So we had so obviously I like the men's match a lot better. I don't know if you noticed, AJ Styles actually injured himself in the match. He got the spear from Edge, did that whole spin around and landed on his arm weird. And you can if you go back and watch it, you can kind of see him in the corner talking with WWE officials. And then what I find interesting is after they kind of separate and you have, who's the guy with the OC? I forget his name.
Carl Anderson?
The other one.
Or Luke Gallows?
Carl Anderson is over with Edge.
Carl Anderson's the shorter one.
Yes. He's over with Edge, and AJ Styles walks over and kind of pushes Carl out of the side, because obviously they're a team, so Carl can't eliminate him. And he gets into the ear of Edge for a few minutes, and Edge kind of looks up, and he grabs AJ Styles and throws him over the rope. And you can tell he had an injury. He had to be eliminated.
So did they say exactly what the injury was and how long he's going to be out? Or?
I just read that they hope that he's back by WrestleMania. I didn't read what the actual injury is. Let me see if I see anything on there. I don't think they announced what it was. Major injury. Oh, this could update it. Hang on. So obviously it was a soldier or. It sounds like he could miss with physically pain taking. It says AJ Styles could miss a lot of times. Samoa Joe was it a concussion? He had a concussion on Raw, so I don't think he'll be out for too long. He took a hard fall on the floor. Yeah, that was on Raw. So I don't know. I mean, AJ Styles being out could hurt WrestleMania a little bit. So hopefully he gets back.
Yeah, I know they wanted to do AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, but now that they have Edge, that helps Randy Orton a little bit. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I thought the Royal Rumble was good. I thought it was one of the better ones that has been around. I didn't
mind it.
Obviously, not as many surprises as you wanted, but they had the big one with Edge, and I thought all the matches were decent. So overall, I'd probably give it like a A-, B+. If they set up for WrestleMania really well, and the Raw show after. I honestly, you thought the Raw show was really good. I didn't really think it was like that great. I thought they had good segments and everything, but I didn't think it was like monumental in any way.
Right. We only have a few minutes left. You want to do a big finish?
Sure.
You want me? Let's go through
a
big finish. I'm going to read off because I got like so many topics that by next week they'll be too old to talk about. So I'm going to quick name them off, and you tell me your thoughts on them real quick. Edge on Raw. What did you think of the Randy Orton Edge on Raw? You like that ending?
Yep, liked it.
Drew McIntyre deciding to go head-to-head with Brock Lesnar. You think it's going to be a good match?
I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be great, actually, because you have someone facing Brock Lesnar that's not crippled like he has been facing in the past few years. Besides Seth Rollins, but I think it's going to be a great match. Two huge guys going up against each other, and I think, Brock Lesnar is going to do a great job in putting Drew McIntyre over and putting him into the upper echelon.
What do you think about Raw's new announce team? They can't seem to get things figured out over there on Monday Night Raw.
I still hate the announce team on Raw. I don't really like any of them. I really wish my dream would be to have them bring up Morrow from NXT. I think he is the best announcer. I've said this since day one. Best announcer that WWE has, yet they put him on NXT.
I just don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to bring him up.
I don't think they are either, but the guys that they have are not good. King is having a stroke every time he talks. I feel he's not that great. The main guy, I don't even know what his fucking name is. But he's like a pencil neck geek, just like you.
I like Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips isn't bad.
Wait, no. Tom Phillips is on Smackdown.
No, Tom Phillips is on Raw.
The guy with the glasses.
No, they got rid of the guy with the glasses.
I'll bet you. They did?
The Joseph Vic or Vic Joseph, whatever his name is, they got rid of him. They sandbagged him.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Adios, buddy. Out to the pasture you go. And they brought in Tom Phillips back. So now on Raw.
Who's going to be announcing Smackdown?
right now. It's Michael Cole and Corey Graves on SmackDown. Those two have been on SmackDown since it got started.
So where's Tom Phillips been?
He's been doing the UK. He's been announcing for WWE UK. So now he's on Raw.
Why would they have Tom Phillips? First off, why would they bring in this Vic Joseph guy who doesn't even look like an announcer? He looks like an announcer for cricket, not WWE. Like, get off my screen.
Vic
guy.
Joseph is a guy who, even the suits that he wears, it looks like he just came out of his parents' basement and he put on a suit to go to work, and he has no business being there. And that's my opinion. I just don't think he should be there.
He looks like he wears gaming glasses. Like he
exactly.
wears the glasses that you wear when you're playing 16 hours of World of Warcraft.
Whoa. The Dan Gunners that I wear when I'm on the computer screen all day, or I'm playing
His are way different. No,
I agree with that.
Like more sleek back looking. His glasses actually remind me of Boder's glasses. Yeah. Shout out to Boder.
What do you think about the Brock Lesnar Matt Riddle thing going on in the backstage? Some heat there.
Actually, that would be a really good match because they both have experience in MMA. So. Future match?
No comment on that one.
That's the ultimate pro. I love Matt Riddle. That's my homie.
That's all the time we got. Anything you got?
Did you watch NXT last week?
No, a little bit. I watched the highlights.
If go back and watch the exchange between Matt Riddle and his partner Pete Dunne, and then the exchange between those two and Grizzled Young Vets or whatever the name of the other tag team is. It's absolutely hilarious. They make fun of Matt Riddle because he smokes weed a lot. And just go back and watch the dialogue between it. It's just hilarious. I was laughing the whole entire time.
Okay, anything else we got before we close out?
Yeah, go watch the Royal Rumble watch party on YouTube. It's up on YouTube, right? And Twitch.
No, it's only up on Twitch.
It's only up on Twitch.
We can't put it. Yeah, we can't put it on YouTube because of copyright.
Okay, so check out our Twitch page for that. It was a lot of fun. We get to see me and Dave incorrectly pick who's coming out next on the Royal Rumble throughout 3 hours or whatever. But yeah, check it out. Games TV _.
There you go. That's on Twitch.tv, and of course you can watch us live on Facebook Gaming. We got the No Look podcast.
That's a first, Dan. That's a first, by the way.
What?
Me plugging something rather than you.
What can I say? We got the No.
If we could get you to tone down on the yums, we'd be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. We got the No Look podcast up next with Tyler, Austin, and maybe Hannah. And then we got the Dream Team debuting after that at 7. And of course, we got Dave closing out tonight with the Weekend Wednesday. Very full packed Wednesday night here on Insane Games TV. That's the Ring the Bell podcast. You want to turn me on? Mike got a boo boo.
I paper cut myself.
I don't want to hear it. So, Ring the Bell, episode 9 next week. Until then, see you guys later. Keep watching tonight. We got more coming.